From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast of sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hello.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Catch them every Tuesday for Singo with Ozzy and Bingo on Thursdays. Sometimes we'll be there, sometimes we may not. And coming up soon on August 19th is their Hot Chicken and Jorts event. It is the same day as the League's Cup final, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's also my wife's birthday that day, so there's a lot going on.
But you guys don't care about that.
I know the only thing they care about is my wife's birthday. Yeah,
love you, Meg. Yeah, I was talking about the League Cup. What were you talking about?
Yeah. Today we're talking about a bunch of stuff. Check us out on Patreon, Twitch, and support the show. How are you this week, bud?
I am good. That beer festival has put my body in a slump, I feel like, for the past few days, though, of course. You know, like, it's one of those things, you know, where, hey, we had a great time, had an absolute blast, probably had about 45 beers too many. We probably should have just stuck to that organic beer in the Lexus Lounge. We had have 2 or 3 of them, eat our fill, go home, a reasonable hour. You tried to derail my plan, Bobby, and it was all out of friendship that you and Meg, let's help Brandon out. Like, no, Brandon had a game plan, and drunk Brandon knew that game plan, and he would not devolve from it. I know. I could have not. You could have told me, hey, Stephanie just really actually wants to meet over at Legends. I wouldn't have figured it out.
Yeah.
I would have said, nope. I'm going to go to the parking lot. That's the plan. I'm going to stick with the plan. So I appreciate, you trying to, airlift me out, but, that wasn't the mission, Bob. And so I had to, deny you. Other than that, things going well, work mostly, just, getting stuff done, getting ready for football, organizing all of the fantasy leagues and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Excellent. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll get together on that. We got a few drafts to get. I think we're a little ahead of our schedule than we were last year. We were doing a bit more of a scramble on everything else. So I think we've done a lot of the prep work that we didn't do in previous years. So I think we're going to be set up a little better. And as I was feeling a little burnout towards the end of last season, and I thought maybe it might carry over. I don't know about you, bro, but I am hyped. I am jazzed up for the season. So it's always good. It's like, no, is it dead? It's like, no, you've dealt with 17 fantasy leagues every single day for 6 months. You gotta power through that sense of lull.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it was a good week for me. Week of school going on. It's just been crazy going on every day. This is the first time I really get to sit down all day, so it's both relaxing and this beer is much needed. It's hot out there, football practice. It's a lot, in the classroom, but I'm excited to be here. Quick fit check. It's preseason football's back on.
It's where we would be if we didn't have to pay bills, bro. Just all the time. We would just do a daily podcast, whether people listened or not, right? We were just rich as shit. We were just like, we did this because we like to chat and talk, and I think that secondary was other people listening to us. So
Yeah.
We love to hear our own voices. So a little preseason fit check.
Yeah.
I had to do it, bro. Had to
got the
bust out the
Washington foot-
Lutzenkirchen.
Hey, nice. I got the Washington
No?
tee and the Washington hat.
Hey, we matched out. I went Auburn. You representing our pro. I'm representing our college. If our Saturdays are not consumed with those two things, may God have mercy on our soul, Bobby. That's all I can say to us. I would have to imagine that if our Saturdays and Sundays don't consist of these two things, that somebody is getting married, and we have to make gambles on whether or not they're getting divorced soon. So,
Yeah.
football season time wedding with no TVs at the reception generally means, yeah, you're probably going to get divorced.
Yeah.
You hate, not only do you hate
Yeah.
each other, but you hate your friends and family too. You know, like it's
Yeah.
like a whole shebang type of deal. Like that person's
Oh, yeah.
selfish. That's why they're getting divorced.
But all right, let's head into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Mark Stone confirmed his wrist was broken in the first period of the Stanley Cup Final, a game in which he went on to score a hat trick. Mark Stone is a hell of an athlete. Imagine what he could have done with a fully healthy wrist.
Yeah. Let's not pretend like Mark Stone didn't get wrapped up and get given a lot of drugs here, though. Hey, it's a feat. I'm not saying I could do it. I feel like that goes without saying on most of the things that we comment on in this podcast, right, Bob? But I'm also saying this guy was jacked up on Mountain Dew. I'm betting. You know what I'm saying? It was probably better for him to break his wrist because of all them drugs that they got to give him. They're like, all right, now that the wrist is broken, let me get that steroid. Let me get that HGH shot, bud. Come on, bring it in. But what an absolute feat. It's another one of those things that just goes to show you that hockey is the roughest sport around, in my opinion. I think just pound for pound, just like all the things that they have to contend with and the equipment and the pucks flying. Just amazing that you can go out there with a broken wrist, avoid Matthew Tkachuk and all of the big hitters that Florida had and score 3 times. Just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. All right. NHL 24 cover athlete Cale Makar. I'm not surprised. I mean, I knew it was going to come sooner or later, and that's hell. I said that's hell. That's hella amazing.
I haven't ventured into video game cover curses. Pretty much all I had was the 5-year Madden curse that I took to heart, and I never did any additional research, and just assumed that every cover athlete that's ever on a cover of a video game is going to do awful that next year. Bobby, what has your research been on the cover curse, or you're very similar to me? You've heard of the Madden curse. And it's just ingrained in you. What are your thoughts?
I can give you the list right now.
Go for it. It was never hockey. It was Madden. So
yeah, I can start at 91 if you want, but I'll just go start.
Seems a little deep. Yeah, let's
go. 2007 was Alex Ovechkin.
Okay, things have worked out all right for this guy.
Yeah, and 2010 was Patrick Kane. 2011, Jonathan Toews. 12, Steven Stamkos. 13, Claude Giroux. 14, Martin Brodeur. 15, Patrice Bergeron. 16, Jonathan Toews again. 17, Vladimir Tarasenko.
You could
18,
argue
McDavid.
You could argue that 16 Tays was cursed, right? He kind of had a falling
yeah.
off.
Yeah. 19, PK Subban. 20, Austin Matthews. 21, Alexander Ovechkin. 22, Austin Matthews. So I wouldn't really say there's a
no curse on hockey for sure. So Makar, you're safe. No, completely agree with you. A guy that is going to be a face of the NHL for quite some time. Dynamic defenseman. They don't often get that opportunity probably to put that guy being a defenseman there. Pretty funny that they pull, Cale Makar there and put him on the cover when, you got a guy like McKinnon sitting there and all that. So, it goes to show you kind of player he is already, but will continue to be for years to come for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm looking to see because I'm wondering if the years that it got. I don't think Gretzky's ever been on the cover of an NHL game. I'm looking through right now, and I don't think he has been, which is insane. You would think they'd come out with like a Hall of Fame edition or something like that, or like on like a certain.
I would imagine.
Even number.
I would imagine that very early on, it was, that they sought out a guy and got them on there, and he probably didn't have any interest in that. Like that guy probably did not care about it. Doing that would have been like a photo shoot that he had to do that he wasn't like rewatching a game tape for the 450th time,
Yeah.
Like that's my thought process on it. But it is interesting that they haven't had any like follow up. I wonder if there's just not a whole lot of demand for those extra level NHL game style things like there are in like basketball or whatever, like where you can get the Jordan edition or the Mamba edition. And I may be just speaking out of my ass as we usually are, bro. I don't know, but that is interesting that you wouldn't have had him. I mean, NHL started coming out with games like 94, right? Like, so like, what was
91? I think maybe 94.
Maybe late, yeah, maybe earlier, but at very least 94.
They did come out with a Legends edition in 2019. Okay. They had a Legends edition cover, which was Wayne Gretzky.
Okay. And conversation over. Yeah. As long as they have it.
They also had this was not EA Sports, but 989 Sports in 2005 released an NHL game with Gretzky on it. But this was not. It was not like an NHL. It looks like what I'm reading is they were not allowed to use team names, but they could use player names. So it was just Gretzky on New York.
Yeah,
New York
he played till 99. He played till 99. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, but we got it. He's there, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We spent a little bit longer on that than I thought. Let's see.
Cleared it up.
Paul Bryant
Cleared it up.
But all right. So I believe he was on the Habs, was he not?
He was. I think he was more of a journeyman overall, but I think yes, retired on the Habs. Career.
Yeah, he's been in Montreal since 2015.
Where
he's only been on 3 teams in his career, so not much of a journeyman.
Oh, okay, not a journeyman. I guess just more of
he
like
was in
that
Buffalo,
style of role player that I thought that he was.
Yeah, he was drafted by Buffalo in 2010, then spent 4 years in Calgary, then spent the rest of his career in Montreal.
Okay, so not a journeyman.
Yeah. Let's see. He had 521 games played, 98 goals, 110 apples, 139 pims. So he was a spot holder. He was
definitely a role player, but like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like definitely like more loved in Montreal than like us as like looking at stats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys that are just like endearing in your city type of deal. Like, and because of the hockey they play, not like necessarily the stats they put up.
Let's see here. Maple Leafs
Breaking
prospect
news.
Rodion Amirov dies after brain tumor diagnosis. So I don't want to be insensitive here. It says dies after brain tumor diagnosis. Was he diagnosed and then died by something else, or did the
Immediately.
brain tumor kill him?
No, I think that it was. I think that it was the brain tumor that got him.
Okay,
It
it's
is a
just
bad
grammatically
headline, yeah. I may have just
it reads like he
just
got
stole
diagnosed,
the
then he got hit by a
headline.
car.
Sure, or like he got diagnosed and like because he was diagnosed, he died because of that, not because of the actual
Yeah.
disease that took it. Yeah, no. But that's how it's written. I wrote it like them. It is a specific. It is a specific network. I think that I just Googled it or Binged it, and it pulled up a list and a specific network that we generally tend to not name here said it like that in their headline.
Yeah,
Maple
okay.
Leafs prospect
He was
Rodion
diagnosed 2 years
Amirov
ago.
dies after brain tumor diagnosis. Okay, but yeah, that is how they wrote the headline. So I don't know this guy.
Not a good headline.
Right. It was but it is exactly what you expect from the very top option.
Is it the worldwide leader in sports you got that from?
It is not. It is not. It's I mean it's a very fair and balanced network, I would say. And traditionally.
Oh, okay.
Traditionally would say that. In this particular case, the headline is quite misleading, Bobby. So,
well, I will say that People magazine has a very good headline. Maple Leafs prospect Rodion Amirov dead at 21 after doctors did everything possible for brain tumor. Much better headline. It tells you exactly what. Yeah.
So, Rodion Amirov.
So People magazine is the leader in sports.
This one, I'll teach you this. CBS Sports really knocked it out of the park, too. Rodion Amirov, 2020 Maple Leafs first-round pick, dies from brain tumor at 21. They've set the stage. They've told us who it is. They've told us, like, when he was a prospect. They didn't just throw the word prospect. Yeah. But no, what a sad thing. I didn't look into it. We definitely should look a little bit more into it, but, like, how quickly after his draft, he was drafted, how quickly after that was the diagnosis? I mean, no offense, I'm sure he was
diagnosed 2 years ago.
Okay, so in 21. Okay, I was just gonna say, I doubt, I'm sure that all NHL executives are altruistic, but I just doubted that it was a pre-diagnosis, and they're like, we're still gonna take the shot on this guy. I got a good thought process. What a terrible thing, man.
Yeah, horrible.
I'm wondering. Okay, so he joined the taxi squad in the spring of 2020 after his KHL campaign at Salavat Ulev Ufa. You really knocked the name out of the park way better than I did the team name out of the park, Bob. He returned to Russia for another campaign before sustaining an injury before the start of the KHL season. He missed the team's first 8 games, returned to the lineup late September. At the time, UFA coach Tommy Lamza did not provide specifics regarding the injury. He said he would not play for 2 months. Amirov signed UFA minor league team in VHL in November. He played 3 games before returning to the KHL in early December. That's all in 21. While he was back in the KHL, he received minimal ice time, logged 2 shifts. Amirov would work his way back and logging close to 10 minutes per game before testing positive for COVID-19, which derailed his progress. When the Leafs announced the diagnosis, the team stated he sustained an injury during the 21-22 season playing in the KHL. While he was recovering, new unrelated symptoms that required ongoing extensive investigations over the last few months. Amirov played only 10 KHL games that season as he went to a medical facility in Germany for treatment. He thanked the doctors, Milstein thanked the doctors Emirov's doctors, the Maple Leafs, and UFA. I'm not going to try the full name again, for what they did to help him and his family. Milstein also thanked hockey fans who reached out in support of Emerov and his family. The Maple Leafs president and alternate governor Brendan Shanahan issued a statement shortly after Milstein announced Emerov had died. Obviously, big tragic loss for the organization. I'm not going to go over his whole comments, but a sad thing for the hockey world.
Yeah. All right, let's move into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, I do not know how to feel about this one. Zeke is heading to the Patriots and Cook to the Jets. I think Zeke is kind of postponing the end of his career. I think the sun has set on the Zeke that we knew.
A perfect contract for Zeke. It's a $6 million contract, but really it's a $3 million contract with $3 million in incentives. So if they get the Zeke that they are paying for, they're going to get that. I think that's a perfect compliment. Perfect compliment for Ramondre Stevenson, who really struggled around the goal line last year. What it is terrible for is fantasy. I mean, not completely horrible. Can Ramondre Stevenson still be great? For sure, but it does hurt that boomer bust factor of touchdowns that are a little wonky and can throw you up or down. I definitely think that hurts it there. I think it makes them a better football team, because Zeke last year wasn't a bad player. He just wasn't the Zeke that we've seen. And we're comparing him to Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
And he definitely has lost a step. Don't get me wrong. He's not by any means the dangerous running back he was. But he had a nose for the end zone. That's just a talent that guys have. You give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott on the 2-yard line, I think a 70-year-old Zeke is going to figure out a way to get that ball 2 yards, So great football move. I think it sheds a few questions on fantasy.
Let's see. Nashville will host the League Cup.
You missed.
final.
I'm so sorry. You missed the second part to that. Oh,
Cook. I thought I said Cook going to Jets. I didn't know what we had to say.
Oh, maybe. I just thought we didn't discuss it. I heard Zeke to Pats, and but Dalvin Cook to the Jets as well. Definitely a much bigger move. They're paying him like $8 million to cover Breece Hall. That's going to be
Jets going all in.
Jets going all in. Again, another one of those great football moves. Hurt your fantasy roster if you've already drafted or you got a dynasty player there. One of those things, but I think again a great football move. Dalvin Cook may have lost. He could have lost a couple steps, and I think he's going to be all right, especially in a tandem type of deal there with Breece Hall. So.
Oh, yeah. All right. Back to what I was saying. Nashville to host League Cup final, and Messi is coming to Nashville, folks. This is going to be a hell of a show. I won't be able to make it, but that place is going to be
nobody
rocking.
will. Nobody will be able to make it, Bobby. I tried to get season ticket holders could go in and buy tickets at 10 a.m. before they go on sale to the public at 1. Well, at 10:48, when I go in, I'm in a queue of 2,000 people, and there are no tickets left by 10:48. The resale, the cheapest ticket right now is like $850. So no, there's not going to be no Nashvillians going to be there. And it's so stupid. At the beginning of the League Cup, they always ask the season ticket holders, hey, do you want an opportunity to buy all the League Cup tickets for $18 a piece? You just have to buy them for sure if we make it to that round or whatever. So I could have paid for all of those League Cup tickets and then some with just these 2 pair of tickets. So I will never make that mistake again, Bobby. I will just buy the seats.
Do they return the money if they get eliminated for the games that you bought that go forward?
I don't even think you pay for them, but you're like, they go on your balance. Like you owe for them if we make it to that round type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, yeah.
It's saying you can't like go 2 rounds and then like opt out if you don't want to go to round 3.
Yeah.
Like, no, you
purchased the right. $18. $18. That's whoo.
Could have had.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I'd be kicking myself.
Coulda, shoulda, Bobby. No, coulda, woulda, shoulda, Bobby. We could have been in Bitcoin when we were in high school, but like, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Like who cares? Whatever, dude. It's sad, but super, super dope. For Nashville, dude. Honestly, we need to pull this one out. But a big event for Nashville. I saw some tickets going for like $9,000, bro. I was like, where? There's not even like a $9,000 seat in that place. Like, so anyway.
No. Yeah. Have we been blindsided? Michael O'Hare claiming that the Tohoi family has, I guess that's how it's pronounced, Tohoi family has profited millions off of a lie. Initially, when I saw this on Facebook and people were like, "Oh, you could tell me you've lost all your NFL money without telling," but it looks like after doing my research, they never really adopted him. They just got a conservative ship on him, and he came to them, and he came to them and was like, "Hey, if you like give me the money that that I am owed, I will just leave this be." And they said no. So now he's taking them to court, and of course, their lawyer is spinning this as he came to them like trying to profit off them and blackmail them or some BS.
Yeah, and use the whole these people that brought this guy into their home. Well, whoa. They didn't do that for any reason other than to be a nice Christian family, right? You don't get to bring that up as this deed they did, whether or not or is wrong or a shithead or whatever, which I'm not saying one way or the other. It doesn't matter. You brought him in to help out a kid that needed some help, right? So
yeah,
to then like throw it in his face, like if a conservatorship is not adoption, bro. All right, Brittany's dad. You know what I'm saying? Like a legal right to like, how would you even get that over a kid, dude? That you don't.
That's not yours.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, oh no, it's cool. He lives in the guest room. Like, so like, what does that mean? Like, so well, just adopt him, and then you can guide him to make his right decisions. But again, he's gonna be an adult, so he can probably do that on his own. But then you're like, no, how about we just let you make deals on his behalf? Like what a joke of a system that is like been abused. Like a conservatorship has its place. I'm not saying they should be eliminated for people that are like incapacitated or like whatever, not like young and dumb and got like tricked into something by an affluent family when they just they didn't even have a mattress or whatever. I don't know how much of the story is true at this point, but it was a great movie, and it doesn't seem he's disputing a lot of the facts in there.
Haven't seen the movie.
Oh, it's a good movie. Sandy B kills it as always. You know how she do. No, not a big Sandy B guy. You must have never seen Miss Congeniality.
I mean,
that's a.
I have. I don't. I guess I don't dislike her. It's just I find her very, I just find her very, like middle of the road. Like there's better, there's worse. I don't see her and think, oh, I But also,
I'm not talking like,
I've never been a big fan of
Hold on. I'm not like talking like Sandy B's the sexiest woman on earth. I like her as an actress is more of where I'm going. I think she's
that's what I'm saying. Her
beautiful. I'm not
acting
even
is
that.
no. I'm talking, and I'm
like
talking
she
about her
nails
acting.
her
Her acting to
role,
me is very
though.
middle of the road.
I feel like she always nails the role that she plays. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know why I'm sitting here trying to defend. We're way off topic. Sandy B is not even a part of this. She just played the lady. It's not. Let's not bring down the name of Sandra B. In this, where she's gonna get drug into the lawsuit. They're gonna call her to the witness stand and say,
"Yeah,
are you a method actor? Did you like follow her around? And did she slip up at any point and say, "Ooh, the adoption line is not real"? Wouldn't that be some shit if the real life Michael Orr called Sandra Bullock to the stand and Sandra Bullock just blew it up on old lady, dude? That'd be awesome, dude.
And then they have to make a movie about this, and they have to make a movie about the trial and get someone to play Sandra Bullock, who's playing the.
But hey, but can I suggest that we get Sandra Bullock to play the lady again, though? We get her to play the original lady in the film about Sandra Bullock playing the lady, but going to court against her. Honestly, Bobby, write it up, dude. Let's go. We can get a screenplay. Netflix will buy this tomorrow. You know, like if I call them and say, got an idea, no script yet. Well, what's the idea? And I just tell them that sequence. I don't even understand it. But if Sandra Bullock's on, I'm in too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would play. Oh, I already got it. Catherine Zeta-Jones plays Sandra Bullock in the remake or in the movie of the trial.
Not bad, not bad. It seems like I say we go like completely outlandish though. Like somebody that like we try to land a big name that looks nothing like Sandra Bullock. I think he's gonna play the husband.
Oh, okay. Or Michael O'Hare.
I'm thinking like Sarah Silverman.
Idris Elba has to play Michael.
I'm thinking like Sarah. Yes, and we go Idris Elba to play Michael Orr, but we have Michael Orr play the actor that played Michael Orr. We really mix it up. Yeah. We make it so confusing. I'm in. But
we need to make this like loosely based on the facts and have it just be a comedy. I'm thinking Billy Crystal's the judge.
Okay, Billy Crystal can absolutely be the judge. Since we're bringing people on to this, who are we gonna have recreate the Philip Fulmer scene from The Blind Side? Because we'll definitely show that clip, but it will be we remade that clip. So who are we having play Philip Fulmer? Let me hit you with this. We have Peyton. No, okay. we have Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, dude. Yes, I was literally about to say someone. I was literally about to say someone who knows the man has to play him. Dude, yes, I was literally about to say Peyton Manning.
We get Peyton Manning involved on this project. We give him an EP credit. This thing takes off, dude, into the stratosphere. We have it.
Well, you know, he's now a professor at UT. He is now teaching.
That's what I'm
in-person
saying.
Classes.
That's what I know. He's doing some like communication stuff. I read into it. It's not like you get Manning's class. It's like he comes and guest lectures for somebody every once in a while. But that's still super cool.
Okay.
But we might not be able to get him though, because he might be under some contract or something. But I mean, as an adjunct professor there, we can get him. We can land him.
Yeah.
And honestly, all we need is his money.
We got AI.
All we need is his money. All we need is his money and a quick cameo. And he's got the time for that. So, okay, perfect. I do want to get, weirdly enough, I do want to find a role for Michael Cera. I think that he is going to be crucial. Even if it's not like a named role, like just like he's in there being awkward at some point. What are your thoughts on that?
The cop who works there in the courthouse. Just the cop who's in the court.
The cop.
maybe.
Or let me hit
The
you with
bailiff,
this. Are you
or
talking about
whatever.
the bailiff? Okay. Yes, the bailiff.
Yeah.
I am very interested in a Michael Cera bailiff situation. And then at some point he has to calm down. Michael or Idris Elba for us. He has to calm him down. And he does a very surprisingly effective job at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's actually like the best bailiff in the city. And they like brought him in special from like the other courthouse, the federal courthouse, to make sure he was there for this. The good thing is, Bobby, and I don't think that you've even realized this, all of this stuff, all of the court cases and stuff being filed in Tennessee. So like we, for all intents and purposes, it's going through the same legal system of which you know that I know very well as a former jury member. As a former foreman, I am uniquely qualified to comment on this particular case. We will be doing follow-up on The Blind Side. We'll keep asking the question, have we been blindsided?
Yeah.
We don't know. Tonight at 10.
We always wonder how our like recordings go so on time. We've talked more about the movie about the case than we actually have about the case about the movie that was originally on.
Bobby, we found the story. You know, like we put headlines here so we can find the real news, the real nuggets. This is stuff that other people have written. They haven't come up with the idea of having a movie about the court case about the movie. That's too deep level thinking for them. They leave that kind of stuff to guys like us.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for the new summer blockbuster, Have We Been Blindsided, coming straight to VHS next summer.
And no, that wasn't incorrect. VHS was all we could afford. So
yeah. No, yeah.
It's not a oh, he meant straight to DVD. No, VHS.
No. I meant VHS.
We're gonna have 3 VHS tapes. And you'll have to come over and like it'll be a rental. We're like trying to bring back Blockbuster. It'll be a rental situation.
Yeah. All right, let's move into our main topic of the day. We are doing our Metro Division preview part dos. We are starting off with the Rangers, who last season finished off with 107 points at 47, 22, and 13. Finished third in the Metro. They lost in the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs in Game 7 to the Devils. The preseason Stanley Cup odds as of now is plus 1,800.
Not bad odds. Don't hate that. They had a bad loss against the Devils. I mean, they went up 2-0. Away, get to go back home for 2 games. They should have closed that out for sure. It was a team that I was very high on. I think it's been at least the past 2 or 3 years, I've definitely put a preseason bet on them to win the cup, right? I mean, I've definitely lost like $30 over the years to them not winning. And 1,800, that's how they get you, Bob. They make it juicy, dude. They make it a real juicy line. Yeah. You're like, 1,800 it's easy money. I feel like I've said this every year for years. I really like the Rangers this year. I think that they're gonna be a good squad.
Yeah.
Again. So talk me down, Bob.
I think that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
No, you're out.
No, I think the Rangers. It's a no for me. I'm out. I think the window's done. I'm looking at their roster. They got some big names. I'm looking at Artemi Panarin, superstar. Chris Kreider, superstar. Mika Zibanejad, megastar. But like, I just think that those guys are now getting into a time when they're just what are they changing? I'm not seeing massive changes in this team that tells me that they are adjusting to the rest of the NHL. The rest of the NHL, I feel like, is getting better, and the Rangers are making some minor improvements. I think maybe they get out of the first round. I don't think they win. I don't think they can win the cup.
I don't know that they can win the cup either. I think that I like the odds at plus 1,800 that says we got 82 games to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
So let me see. What do we got here?
I mean, last season we had two 30-goal scorers. Zibanejad at 39, Chris Kreider at 36. Artemi was 1 goal short. He had 29 goals. So obviously, yeah, those are their big names. Vincent Trocheck, a stable guy who's also a great fantasy player, sitting there at 22 goals with 64 points. I like the talent. The problem is we've been saying this for going on what feels like 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
and we get
but I mean,
nothing out of them.
Tampa Bay. I mean, that's all we have to say now is Tampa Bay. If we would have said this,
Yeah.
I mean, how many years was Tampa Bay the team and they should be doing something and they lose in the first round or this happened or this happened? I'm just saying they're bad. They're bad and they're that team that can't get over the hump until they aren't. They had a bad loss against
But the question
across the river.
The question though is if we're using the Tampa Bay anomaly, then we'll be saying, "Oh, I think they've got a good shot for 16 teams in the NHL." And I think that that's not interesting to say, "Oh, well, Tampa Bay did it, so this team can do it." It's like, yeah, okay, there are a couple, and a couple teams deserve that, but I don't want to give out that Tampa Bay anomaly to the Rangers, in my opinion.
No, and that's fine, but the harsh argument that we've said that they're going to do it and now they haven't done it, so it can't happen is also the opposite side of that argument. They're not Tampa Bay, but they're not done because they haven't done it for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm saying is that, I mean, how old is Panarin? Panarin's he's like 27. He's fairly young. Zibanejad, fairly young.
31.
They have a 31. Okay, Panarin's 31.
Yeah.
Is that who? Okay.
Well, he's about to be 32, and
little older than I thought. But in hockey, 32, not necessarily a world breaker. Getting closer to that end. But having a Vezina winning goalie, that is a massive, massive upside.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a lot.
One thing
more
I didn't know, I had no idea that Panarin was. I had no idea Panarin was older than Zibanejad and Trocheck. I would have assumed he was the youngest of those.
No idea.
To be honest with you.
He looks constantly like he's Michael Cera. He is 100. He will forever be He will forever be the bailiff. He will forever be 19. In my mind, like he just looks like that. But no, I mean that's a little older than I thought. But I don't know. I think that there's a whole lot to the stars on this team. So
I think they have lots of upside, but I think they need to prove me wrong. And I've said this before, and I've been wrong. Sometimes I've been right.
Love that point. I think that's the right approach to take. It's not, you definitely shouldn't land on my side where like, it's almost like a sunk cost to me. Like if I just keep saying the Rangers are going to win the cup, eventually they will. And all of those times I said, and so it's not necessarily that like maybe I'm a little hardcore because you landed so hardcore on one side. I think we're landing more in that same spot. Like I believe they can do it, but I have no proof and they're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? So I think we're a lot closer than our large-scale argument made it out to be on the Rangers.
Yeah.
No major additions, I don't think that there was many major additions or Kane can possibly leave and Tarasenko's already gone. So, I mean, but those were hole fillers for the playoffs at best. I mean, those are pieces that can be had again in my mind.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have the Flyers. Let's see here. The Flyers previous season, if it will load it for me. Previous season. There we go. Finished 7th in the.
I'm sorry. I did want to say I think they did add Nick Bonino and Riley Nash. So I think that those are two good depth pieces that need to be spoken of.
Yes.
But did lose a fair amount of did lose a fair amount of pieces, and have a new head coach coming in with Peter Laviolette. Jonathan Quicken as a backup, I like that option. So I just wanted to throw those pieces. I said they didn't really do many signings or whatever, but they did have a few, and so I wanted to throw those in there just to be fair.
Nice. Anyway, so we have the Philadelphia Flyers last season with 75 points, finishing 7th in the Metro. They did not make the playoffs. So their Stanley Cup
just missed it.
Odds are 15 plus 15,000. And their over under on points is 73.5. Looking at their points from let's see, they had one 30 goal scorer who was Travis Konechny. Their best point guy also Konechny at 61. I mean, I think this is a floundering team. I don't see much more coming out of them this year. I think they actually just moved away some pieces. I think they're looking to tank. So unless you see something I'm not seeing much out of this team this year.
Yeah, Bobby, I'm going to tell you what I see. I see me winning $15,000 if I just lay down 100. That's what I'm seeing. Let's go, Flyers for the cup, baby.
Let's go.
No,
Steph's listening to this like, oh no.
Oh God. You know. So I win 15,000 if I put 100 down. Think of what I win if I put down 1,000. 10 times that. No, you are right on point. Definitely looking to scrape the bottom of the barrel again. If they can, getting rid of long-term assets like Provorov, Kevin Hayes, Van Riemsdyk. They're done. They've made some small adds, but a lot of small two-way contracts and gathering some picks as well. So I don't see much. There's not a whole lot of things to be excited for about the Flyers. Yeah, I think you really said it all. Goaltending a little bit. Sean Couturier and Carter Hart will be there due to their long-term deals. So I think that those guys will probably shine a little bit, but it'll be in a pile of dirt. So it'll be a couple shiny rocks in a bad situation.
Yeah. Moving on now to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Last season, they were at 91 points, 40, 31, and 11. Finished the 5th in the Metro. No playoffs. Their preseason odds for the Stanley Cup are plus 1,800. So obviously, Brandon, if you go put 100 on that, not too bad. But 1,000.
I hate that. That sounds like terrible odds for a team that's going to miss the playoffs. They're going to miss the playoffs, Bob. You want to know why? Because I'm not going to put any bet. Because I'm not going to bet on them missing the playoffs. Every year I bet on the Penguins missing the playoffs. That they make it, no problem. So I last year didn't put a bet down. Boom. What do you know? They're out. I didn't know. Now I know.
Yeah. They had 2 30-goal scorers. Jay Gensel at 36, Crosby at 33, and Crosby was their point leader at 93. Yeah, I mean, I don't think
that's ridiculous.
I see this team.
That's so ridiculous that he had 93 points. Like what? He's like 90. I've never known hockey without him type of deal,
Yeah, he's 36 years old.
Like it's like one of those things like when you find out how old people actually are, you're like, oh, I'm actually older than them. Like that's a joke. Like, no, like he's 4 years older than us, dude. He was born in the 80s, like 93 points. That joker.
Yeah. But I mean, with that said, I think they missed the playoffs again. Yeah. I don't see them adding many weapons. I think that Tristan Jarry he's a serviceable goaltender, but serviceable doesn't get you to the playoffs. So serviceable gets you, above 500. So I don't see this. I think this team kind of stays where they are.
This goes a little bit outside of our purview here. I would like to see the impact that the contracts of Crosby and Malkin inevitably have to be wreaking on their cap. And they got away with it for a long time by saying to a guy, hey, come take little to no money, but you'll get your name on some hardware and you get to play with two of the greatest players that ever played. That is slowly but surely, I guess not too unintriguing, since he got 93 points last season. And I guessing that they weren't all 93 goals. I'm guessing he's still sharing the love, but I don't know. What is, could it be just a down year and their role players didn't step up? And so that's why they didn't get into the playoffs. And all it takes is the right guy to play, the right 18-year-old kid that they found on a, street court and brought and said, hey, Sidney Crosby really likes the way that you stand. You want to come play hockey for us? And he scores 15 goals this year or whatever. So they got, Ivan Barbashev. I love his peripherals and like all that he gives to a team. Same with JT Compher. So those guys are certainly fits for the type of player that Pittsburgh likes to bring in and can usually win games with. So while I will confidently say they're not make the playoffs, if we were having this conversation and they're the number 2 or 3 team in the division and not even a wild card, I'm also not surprised about that. So
yeah.
They did end up re-signing. They did re-sign Jari though. I'm seeing.
Nice. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna try and speed through this because we are almost at an hour. Washington Capitals last season, 80 points, 35, 37, and 10, finished 6th in the Metro. Did not make the playoffs. They have the Stanley Cup preseason odds are plus 4,000. Last season they had one goal scorer over 30, and you'd be shocked to guess who that is. Mr. Alex Ovechkin at 42 goals with 75 points. I mean, just absolutely. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. I wonder if he's ever been on an NHL cover.
I don't know.
But yeah, so I mean, a 40 goal season from him. I think the NHL and maybe Washington fans, they've got their cup. Now they only care about one thing, and that's him catching Gretzky. Like if they were to finish last place in the division. If they would have finished last place in their division, but he had a 60-goal season, to them, that's amazing. They are over the moon with that.
I actually don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, I think that they got a cup. It's so hard to get one. You don't want to be greedy, right? Like, we got a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one. And now we have a chance to have the one that bested the great one. Honestly.
Yeah.
If I had a cup and it was my team, what can we do? Let teams drop 19 goals on us a game. We're going to play no goalie. Everything we do is about Alex Ovechkin scoring goals at this point, from this point forward. I think that you could get a coach.
They need to be bringing in the best playmakers to get him assists. Like
you could get a president on board if like you're a coach and you're in your job interview and you're like, look, I'm not here to win a Stanley Cup. I'm not here to win hockey games. The only hockey games that we win is in which Alex Ovechkin scores more goals than the other team. That's the only thing I care about. I think I was the owner. I think I'd stand up and be like, you got the job, sir. What do you need from me? Let's do this. I actually have already built his statue, but if we could add a little bit to that statue, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
it's so insane. I'm looking at the time on ice. He averages about the same time on ice as the defensemen do. He averages over 20 minutes a game.
And he's not just a post up kind of guy, bro. Like he will wear you out. Like they were showing in 2008, the best hockey series, one of the best playoff series ever, Ovechkin, Crosby, and it's like 14 points, 13 points, like plus minus 4 and 5, and like shots and like assists and like all of these things.
Yeah.
And then it gets to hits and it's like, like 9
he had
hits for
188
Crosby
hits last season.
It's like 9 hits for Crosby and like 28 hits for Ovechkin. So like Crosby won the series, but like the head-to-head matchup was very easily won by Ovechkin, and especially if they ever met head-to-head. So
yeah, I think they missed the playoffs, but I think they all have a place in our hearts rooting for Ovechkin. Let's move on to our joke of the week.
We can just go headlines since we need to speed through.
The weird.
Yeah.
Corey Perry. See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
All right, you found this one. What's the headline? We'll do a quick summary.
I haven't even read into it. Pedro Pascal denied entry to Pedro Pascal exhibition in Margate. I'm sorry, did you just turn down the Red Viper? Red Viper didn't have a ticket. Did you just send out the Mandalorian?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they were closed because he went on a day the gallery was closed that day because he went on a Sunday. That's why he was turned away. Nobody was there to turn away. The doors were locked.
Bobby, I don't think that you heard yourself. Pedro Pascal went up to a door.
Oh, yeah, and the door denied him.
It was locked, and then people didn't do anything about that. They didn't say, no, that's Mando. The doors aren't locked for Mando. Like, they should have some sort of facial recognition system. Honestly, if I were him, I'd have broke in. What are they going to do? Arrest me? Like, no, this is my exhibit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, no, look, this is me. All right. Look, I've seen this before. This guy broke in and put up pictures of his family everywhere.
All right. All right, let's move into what's snapping your stick. We got a question for the internet for next week, but we're running a little bit over, so let's head into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, man. I know this is not just. I think we have a kind of a combined what's snapping our stick here. That is, man, get adjusting to this school schedule is a lot. You know, being up at 5:15, whatever. Getting out the door at 6:30, getting out of football practice at 6:15, getting home at 7:30. It's pushing our recording schedule. It's
we're not on the same page.
It's life.
We're not on the same page at all. No, I don't really care about the recording schedule or anything like that. My traffic is up because y'all dummies are now in school. That's it. That's all I care about, bro. Like, you guys go to school, so now more people are on the road. Like, if people were comparing, get the kids back into school. Everybody, we got to have the kids in school. I'm out there picketing like, get them out. Get them out of school. Send them home. I hate them, and they're like, what's your problem with kids being in school?
I want to apologize to anyone wearing headphones right now.
I don't. What are you driving to school? Like, no, just turn down your radio. No, I am. And people are like, oh, well, how does it affect you? Well, it really does. It's like more like 7 or 8 minute difference of my commute. But it's more of the annoyance of like, I can see the congestion that I'm in a little bit more. So we're not on the same page, Bob. I don't care about your schedule, or, you get paid a salary. I don't get paid a salary to deal with your dumb kids. Okay. And now I'm having to on the streets.
But all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you all again next week. Until then, keep being awesome. And see y'all.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.